Well, welcome back to Unpaid Movie Critics.com. Today I'm here and joined by the illustrious member of the Detroit Film Critics Society and the woman who has more hit singles in the UK than Kylie Minogue, Miss Becky Fixel.
Oh, Mr. Smets. So I have a question for you before we even get started, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Hype Guy here.
I'm a
So
hype guy.
you are my hype guy. All you do, you make up stuff all the time, but it's fine. What were you
Who
doing
doesn't?
in San Diego? What did you go to San
I
Diego?
was I was at the unofficial, well, I guess it's official. It was a San Diego special edition Comic-Con.
What is the difference between regular Comic-Con and special edition Comic-Con?
The regular Comic-Con's good. No, no, I had a really nice day. Honestly, it was really fun, but it was definitely you can't even say it was scaled down. It was scaled down from WonderCon, which is like 75 steps down from Comic-Con. Comic-Con, when you go to Comic-Con, it's like Wednesday through Sunday, and sometimes I don't go on Sunday, but it's like wall to wall jammed.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna kill yourself by the end, and you forget what real world is about. Like
Okay.
the only important things are signed posters
And
or
there's
meeting somebody.
activations and stuff like that, right? There's like
Yeah,
experiences and okay.
yeah, experiences, activations. Here, there was a couple little things like you get to walk through a La Brea um, simulation where there was like fake woolly mammoths that took
So you're in the
17
tar
minutes.
pit?
Yeah, it's at that show La Brea
Okay.
where things fall in the hole or something, and there's time, and it's a you went back in time or something. I don't know. And they had one for HBO Max's Peacemaker.
Okay.
And that was like an obstacle course, which I didn't run because it started after like a certain point at Comic-Con. I'm like, this time, I'm not doing this. But the outside was really cool because they had like his like little trailer, and they had a little food truck, and they had some photo ops and stuff. It was kind of neat. Those two things were fun.
Okay. And then what was
Inside
the rest of it?
Comic-Con,
Just meet and greets for signatures or
there was no one there, like not one
oh,
celebrity. I mean, Brent Spiner was there, who's
okay.
Data from Star Trek Next Generation,
That's
but I put
someone.
celebrity in quotes. Um, I do feel like it just was basically walked around, looked at the vendors, the artists, and things like that.
So
Uh,
basically you went to Detroit Comic Con,
yeah, it was kind of like that.
Motor City Comic Con, because we have, I mean, they have a couple panels here and they have like 2 rows and people come in for about an hour and will charge you to sign stuff.
Yeah.
And but the rest of it is vendors and it's just used to be at Kobo. Now it's at
All right.
Urban Show Place and it's just a little geek fest, but that's it.
Yeah, and that was it was a lot of the same people you see every convention. The
Okay.
wall of the t-shirt tower guys. You can look at your t-shirts. That the shirts all look folded, like they've been put in boxes here and shipped to every con they go to.
Mhm.
Um, which is fine. I mean, it's always fun to see stuff, and oh look, it's the wall of Funko Pops again. And but it's funny because we were going through, and like the Funko Pops used to be $10,
Yeah.
and now they're 15. And I was
Oh,
like,
is it because it's at Comic-Con or is it because of the shipment delays and stuff, you think? Or
I
the
don't
holidays?
know. Well, these are older. Like they weren't like new stuff. I mean, they were new, but they were common. So it wasn't like it was like chases or anything. It was like I don't know what the ramifications or the reality of it was, but I was like, $15.
That's a lot.
It's a big jump, and it's funny because you just don't know who the vendors are. Like, are these the same vendors and they come
Yeah.
together and they have like 7 booths throughout Comic-Con, they just spread them out to the floor, which happens quite a bit. And a lot of vendors I'm used to seeing at regular Comic-Con were not there.
Okay.
So it was interesting.
Okay. Well,
It was good. I'm glad I went. And then afterwards, we went to meet up with my friend Billy for dinner in Oceanside. And then so we saw him. I got to make fun of him for a good hour. So that was always a great release. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm Billy." And then
really.
he's like, "Oh, I got food." I'm like, "I know, Billy, you got
Poor
food."
Billy. Every
And then
time.
he hobbled out to the car and hobbled back. That was nice. And then and what I didn't know, Oceanside is the filming location of Animal Kingdom on TNT.
Okay.
And I started watching that through the pandemic, so it was fun to get. We ran through some of the filming locations,
So
so
that's
that was kind
cool.
of neat. So it was a fun day. I mean, it wasn't bad. Drive was pretty easy. It's like 2.5 hours.
Was it
We
busy?
missed traffic. No.
Oh, well, okay, because everybody wants the real Comic-Con. They don't want quasi-con.
Well, I feel like they also didn't promote it. Like my friend
Okay.
actually called me the day before and was like, is Comic-Con happening this weekend? Like he was confused by it. And I was like, yeah, it is, but it's special edition Comic-Con.
Okay.
So, and I was like, you can come with me. And he's like, I don't want to spend the money for this, and a lot of people were like, why am I coming in for 3 days when I can do everything in 2 hours? And it was true. You can do
Right.
everything in 2 hours.
So they didn't have they didn't have the main Comic-Con this year. They just had the
No.
small abridged one. Okay.
Right. And I think that what they were doing, and I think that was really, really smart actually of CCI, because they wanted to test the waters.
Right.
Like,
With
let's
the
see if we can
pandemic, who knows?
feasibly do this. And now with this new variant, I mean, so many things are happening.
Yep.
Events that I went to, like, I went to a Q&A for Hacks, the TV show on HBO
Mhm.
on Wednesday. A lot of fun, had a great time. And but I brought something to get signed, which I usually do. And they were like, the security was like, no, you can't talk to the panelists, nothing. And I was like,
Really?
okay. And then
That's
they were
crazy.
talking to some people and well, they know them. I'm like, I don't think they know them if they're getting a selfie, but whatever.
Right. So
But the party was off the hook. I gotta tell you, it was great, but it was just wild.
did you get anything signed though?
No.
No. Well, and I have January is supposed to be for CES in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
It's in person again. They have a digital one, but I still haven't received anything about signing up for that. First of all, I always get sick in Vegas before COVID.
Yeah.
Every trip I get food poisoning. So that's another issue. But Vegas is, I know every time I go to
I mean,
Vegas.
is it Vegas's fault or is that a Fixel fault?
No, it's Vegas.
Oh my gosh. Hashtag Fixel fault.
And no, but it's been both times I was there, food poisoning, different restaurants, no rhyme or reason. And I'm like, come on, this is a little ridiculous. But I'm not going to go to Vegas.
Hashtag Fixel fault.
We're still I'm ignoring you. We're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
With this new variant that they have found in California and a few other states now. So I'm like, yeah, no, not happening. Not doing it in person yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had an event on Tuesday with Dan Stevens for his new movie, and I just got a notice they canceled the reception. The Q&A is still going, but the reception got canceled. And I was like, well, what's the point?
Right. I mean, the Q&A.
So I canceled.
Well, yeah, it's canceled for you. But like press is going to go because they're going to want the stories for whatever,
But I mean, honestly, like there's so many Q&As. It's like you can only sit through so many, God bless it. It's very patented. It's very like, there's nothing revelatory. Like you go there to see somebody get a picture or whatever it is, or, that's what a lot of people go for now, to get the picture for the gram. And then Sunday I have a Q&A for West Side Story.
Okay.
With most of the cast there. I'm curious how that's going to go. I don't know if people are going to be like, oh, COVID restrictions and, but it's interesting how everything is selective.
Right. But it's,
it's like
the same thing here though. For some of our screenings, Netflix requires us to take tests before every screening. Paramount, we have to fill out a form and sign a waiver. And then some of them just don't give a crap. But, it depends on the studio and who's running it.
Exactly. And it's interesting. And some of them, like there was an event here called the Contenders. It was like an all-day thing, and they did tests on site.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to wait for your test to be cleared and go. And then you also had to be vaccinated, which I'm like, yeah, great. But at least they felt like, okay, no one has it, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, relatively speaking, it's fairly safe.
Well,
so then you can feel like you can have an event.
Everyone in there is safe. And that's, when we had our screening days this week for Wednesday, we had 2 Netflix ones back to back. So anybody who sat in them you had to be vaccinated and show the negative test. So we knew that morning everybody was safe. I mean, it's a small group anyhow, but it was nice and a little reassuring that, we didn't have to worry as much.
Well, yeah, I mean, and if you're in a screening where everybody had to be vaccinated, for the most part, I
Right.
feel very comfortable that they
Right.
were checking that. Like, yeah, and this at the event that for HBO, like everyone had to have a vax card, they had to show it, and not that I don't feel I don't feel personally. I'm not one of those people who feel like everyone has to be vaccinated. I feel like it's everyone's choice to get done, but I encourage it because I think it's smart. But
If
if
it's
people don't
within
want
your
to do it,
realms. Yeah.
that's their choice. I mean, everyone has choices in life. I don't feel like and taking anyone's choices away is what we should be doing. However, if an event like from HBO and they say, hey, if you want to come, you have to be vaccinated, I fully support that
Mhm.
because it's not something that anyone needs to do to live. I mean, let's be real. I can live without going to an event for hacks and meeting Gene Smart. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you
So,
could, but you'd be sad and mopey like you were all through lockdown.
well, yeah, I mean, but think about it. So, I mean, like, but then again, like I told my friend, he's not vaccinated for health reasons.
Hmm.
He has an issue with platelets and things like that. And I was like, dude, you got to get vaccinated. You're not going to come to any events with me anymore.
Right? They're not going to
He's
let
like,
them
I
in. And
know they're not going to let you in, and
and, and
they don't. And I was talking to him about it yesterday, and I said it makes sense to me because it's like they have to do a blanket. They
yeah,
can't say, oh, well, you have a restriction because you're this, and then it's too hard. So they
and
have to make it a blanket statement
they have to
for
legally
events like this.
protect themselves too, because somebody gets it or somebody dies after getting it, their
Yeah.
family potentially can go after them because they didn't do what they had to.
Yeah, and you have to be, it's due diligence,
Right.
and I support the due diligence. I think it's a smart thing, and I think that they need to do it. The studios need to do it, and I mean Netflix is being really good about it. I think that doing the rapid testing, I'm sure it's expensive for them, but if you're putting on the expense of, I mean, dude, this event for hacks, I got to tell you, open bar,
Nice.
which is normal, but
Right.
they had chefs on site preparing food. It wasn't a buffet where you serve yourself, but they would
Right.
put like a bowl of artichoke and olive pasta in a window. You took it, and then they had a full prime rib carving station, and then they had like a whole vegan options. They had caviar on like crisps they were walking around with. It was pretty sick. I'm not gonna say they had full shrimp cocktail with a giant ice sculpture and like
Hmm.
beautiful shrimp. And I was like, yes, please.
You're like, I didn't bring
Um,
extra pockets with me, darn.
I know, and that's the funny thing because you look at it and you're like, well, I guess if you're spending this much money, you might as well do the rapid testing. I mean,
Right.
like,
Well,
you
and that's the
know,
thing too. They also, I mean, something you and I know as people that run our own small businesses, when we were working from home exclusively in lockdown, we had a lot less expenses and a lot less
yeah,
write-offs. So right now, while yeah, those tests are expensive, those they're writing them all off as a business owner.
yeah,
So they're catching up. So I don't feel bad. I mean, Netflix has been over generous and I have a stack of these. So, I have them if we so should need them, but
right,
I'm glad I don't have to pay for them.
exactly.
I mean, if I had to, I would write it off because that's what I would have to do to continue running my business.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you that the theater itself was half full.
Yeah.
It wasn't even full. And usually, you tell SAG actors there's free food, and it's like they'll crawl over their mother to get there, but not this time. It was kind of funny.
Oh, bless. So
LA, man, you know what
I
I'm
know,
saying? Like it's real.
we have a guy that comes to some of our screenings at SAG.
Oh,
So yeah, he's been showing up the last couple weeks I've seen him, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, he's from SAG," and I was like, "Here, okay, all right,
well, Detroit. I mean, I was eligible, I think, in Detroit for doing industrials and some other stuff that they did.
oh okay." So you know, I don't know anything. I know his first name, and that's about it. So you know, I don't know anything else. But
But whatever I want to know what you've seen. Tell me some of the movies you've seen and you
this
liked.
week,
Yeah, because okay, if everyone doesn't know, since Becky is an illustrious member of the Detroit Film Critics Society, she has a
wait,
tattoo actually
not
that
yet.
goes like right here on
Um,
her arm,
I
and
am
she's like, and it's like it glows when she walks in the door.
I am looking at getting a couple tattoos, and that is not on the list, but thank you.
I just don't know.
We had our screening days this week. So there were two, yeah, it was Tuesday and Wednesday, and there were 4 to 5 movies a day.
That's kind of crazy. I don't think you can really appreciate a movie like that. Just my
Well,
humble opinion.
I was selective on some because some I had seen, some I personally chose a link for because I figured one of them was ending the first day. It started at 7:30. We started that day we ended up starting at 10, not or I'm sorry, noon, not 10. And I chose the link for Wolf because it started at 7:30 and I knew that I wouldn't get home until probably 10:30 and I would probably be super grouchy the next day. So it's like, you know what? I'll take the link early. I'll watch it at home so I'm just not a grouchy bitch the next day because that
Right.
is a distinct possibility. Sitting in a movie all day and I have my giant sweatshirt blanket thing that I'm wearing because you're in a movie all day, so you're going to get cold. It really wasn't too bad. And I actually got a portable heating pad that runs off a USB drive.
You
Um,
sound like you're 50. I'm
I
just saying.
know, but I
I
get
got
cold.
my heating pad. I just settled in for a day of
I know.
movies. And oh my gosh, I'm so cold.
Okay,
My
but when you're
hands
in a
are
movie
chilly.
theater for 12 hours, you're going to get
That's
cold.
crazy, though. I don't
It is.
understand. Like, you can't really appreciate these films.
Well, some of them, okay, and that's the thing. So they are put up by people say, all right, I really want to see this one on the big screen. And it's, a movie that 90% of these I would never have chosen.
Yeah.
So that's why I said next year I have to be a little more vocal myself and at least one other member and say, okay, can we see this one? And then afterwards, like yesterday at noon, we had to have our ballot picks. All of us had to send those in. And
Already?
yeah, and we have to vote and our results come out Monday. So today
Wow.
yeah, that's why I said when I said I want to have time to think till Thursday, that was why. um and Sunday at 6 p.m. I have to have all my votes into them
Hmm.
for, best show, best actor, all of that. Thankfully it's just
Wow.
right. So I already had to submit my choices for that yesterday.
Wow.
So,
It seems early,
oh,
doesn't
it
it?
is really early.
Like
So
Matrix isn't even out yet. Like, how do you know?
I know. And that one person in our group was arguing that because he's like, I don't feel this is right since Matrix isn't out. We also have Kingsman and a bunch of other
Yeah.
ones. And they said that next year they may move it forward, but that's discussion. They already had these dates set. I think New York announced their picks today too. So Detroit and New York are ahead of the game. So when this goes live, our actual, the winners of the awards from our Film Critics Society will be live.
So then you get no more swag. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's still coming in.
But how if you're already out there?
That's the thing. I don't know. We still have all the FYC movies coming in, all of these packs. I don't know how it works from that point. They just send them on their own timeline. So because I know I have something coming Monday or Tuesday. So I do not know. But you wanted to know what we saw, right?
Yeah, I also want to know what other cool stuff you've gotten so I can lust after it and try to swigger myself through it. That's my new word.
Swigger. All right. So I actually took a screenshot of the schedule so I didn't lose it. Now I've lost it. Okay. The first day they canceled, we had a screening of Flea, but we have a copy of that in the Neon book. So, and it's an animated one I haven't watched yet, but it's on our list. So I have to watch it this weekend. Then we saw Parallel Mothers with Penelope Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How was it?
It's okay. There was a point where they should have ended the movie and then it just kept going for 40 minutes.
Oh.
And then I was expecting more of a twist and it wasn't there. So, but it's based off a book, I think. So,
All right.
yeah. Then we saw West Side Story.
How was it?
I'm not a fan of West Side Story before. Let's just.
I'm not either. I'm curious. I mean, I hear good things. So
it's not bad, but it's darker than the original.
okay.
And then they didn't change enough, in my opinion, to justify remaking it. So it's like a little setback in time. You still have all of the racial slurs. You still have, there's still all of that. And then I was happy to see that like Rita Moreno was in it. She was playing the older lady in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So at least they brought her back. But
No George Chakiris?
I don't think so. No, no.
Well, she won the Oscar for that movie.
So did she.
Did she win it for that too?
She was
Okay.
Anita. Yeah. So that one for me was an okay. It was just like, but I'm not a fan of the original, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
I don't like musicals myself.
I
I was
love
like,
musicals,
well,
but
is it long?
oh yeah, 2.5 hours. Everything's 2.5 hours.
Why, Lord, why?
Because apparently that's all they did during the pandemic. Um, and then we saw Cyrano,
Oh,
which with Peter Dinklage playing Cyrano de Bergerac, and
yep.
that also a musical,
Oh,
which was my first thought, because first, like, it starts and I'm like, okay, we all know the story of Cyrano, that it's,
yeah.
we know this. First 5 minutes they're singing, and seriously, somebody said, is this another musical? Because it was right after West Side Story, but it was
Oh,
really good. So,
really?
right. Yeah. So that was one that I think is
Huh.
not going to get the attention that it probably should. While West Side Story, everybody will go because they know the name. And Cyrano's
When they know the songs and they know it's easy, you know what I mean?
right.
It's easily accessible. And it's
It is.
Spielberg. I mean, you know.
It is, but it's a little darker. And honestly, right now, I say this coming out of a pandemic, we're still in a pandemic. Do we need dark movies? Do we need darkness added to something that already, it had a heavy weight to it anyhow.
Right.
And then it just got darker. So, and then
Agreed.
they followed it up with Wolf, which I am so glad I watched at home because it is slow. It is, I just, no.
Ouch. What is that one? I don't remember hearing that one.
Wolf is about a young boy who thinks he's a wolf. So his parents send him to a mental hospital where other teens who believe they are animals are. And he falls in love with a girl who is played by Johnny Depp's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I have heard this one.
It is weird. It is weird.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I ended up speeding it up at the end because I could not watch it at normal speed. It was that slow and quiet. And if I had finished that first day with that, I would have been so mean the next day. So,
Ouch.
yeah. And then Wednesday was Don't Look Up, the new Netflix one that comes out the day before Christmas.
With Johnny Depp. Not Johnny Depp. DiCaprio.
DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. And that one is hilarious. So definitely when it comes on Netflix, if you can't watch it. And then was The Lost Daughter, which was also Netflix, which I skipped because I have a screener. So that one I was like, I'm just going to go out and get coffee and I'll be back. And we came back and we're like, okay, well, we picked up lunch too. And we're like, we'll go sit and watch, the last 20 minutes of the movie. We don't care. Walked in on a very, very weird sex scene. So we took our food and went back in the lobby. Because we're like, yeah, we're not going to sit through this because one, it wasn't going to make sense anyhow. But
well, yeah, obviously.
But it was really, really awkward and weird. So it was time to go. And
awkward and weird. I like it.
I don't know. I don't even know that it makes me want to actually sit and watch the movie. Then was Swan Song from Apple TV.
Oh, Apple TV.
Yeah. Which wasn't bad. It was just, it reminded me of like an artistic version of The Sixth Day.
Oh, okay.
Because he's having a clone made of him to take his place because he's dying and he doesn't want his family to know. So it's, yeah.
Interesting.
Right. So it's interesting, but probably not one that I'd ever need to see again. And then we followed it and ended it with Nightmare Alley.
Oh, and you didn't like that?
It wasn't, yeah, no. And actually there was one that was added after that. What was added after that? One that I decided not to watch. Oh, Licorice Pizza. And then Thursday, before I got my ballot in, I had to watch Being the Ricardos.
Which I hear is really good.
Yes, that one was really good. So
I hear Nicole is really good in it.
She really is. I was very skeptical and she did very, very good. So
Nicole Kidman actually I don't think she gets a lot of the credit that she deserves.
Right.
And it's really interesting because she is such a good actress. Um, Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies,
I
and
know.
she's so good in it. But I mean, every role she does, she brings something to it, and she is kind of a chameleon where she can kind of blend in
Right.
to different things. I don't think she gets the credit. I think people just, you know,
Well, in her acting, I mean, and it, I don't know if it says anything about her acting, but the role she has chosen since her divorce from Tom Cruise, she has great roles. But
yes,
I think that's more, she's allowed to make the choices in what she's doing, not somebody else controlling her career. So
well, right,
that's nothing to do with her acting ability. That is having the freedom of controlling her own career. So, you know,
yeah. Well, I mean, and she does weird movies. I mean, there was
oh yeah,
Was it Dogtown or Dogsville, where it was like there was no set and it was just lines on the floor. And she'll pick these weird little artistic movies to do, which I respect. I mean, I don't want to see them all, but I mean,
but she
I
can do
respect the
it.
fact that people do it.
She's at that point in her career that she can do that. So, you know,
And even trying comedy. Stepford Wives was not a good movie, but you know
well,
what? She
it's not
tried.
a it's not a horrible movie though,
Oh,
because
it kind of is. It really kind
it
of
is, but
is.
it's
No,
still
no,
one
it
that I would
really.
watch occasionally because going in it's a horrible movie. So if
Yeah.
it's like some of those, if you go in with the set expectation, like there's one that's in theaters now that I'm not going to say the name of. You go in knowing that it is going to be a campy train wreck.
Oh, you're talking about Gucci.
Maybe. If you go in with that in mind, then you're going to enjoy it because you're not putting that much focus on it. You
Well, I hear
know,
Gaga is really good in it, and
yeah,
I
she's
hear
not
Leto is
bad.
really good in it.
Well,
Like she just won some award for that movie.
and that's okay. So I will say, with all of the choices out there, House Gucci hardly got mentioned at all in any of the nominations from our group. And there are people like tearing us up. And it's like the Gaga army is coming for us because we didn't put her in for it. I'm cracking up, going, oh, this is going to be fun. This is just fun to watch, because I mean, okay, I understand you guys love her, but not everything she does is gold and deserves everything. There's other actors out there doing a great job too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it, so I've been a kind of a moratorium on depressing dark movies.
Oh, that
And this
was
time of year, it's all. I mean, and maybe that's not depressing and dark, but there are so many movies that are just like I don't want to see kids pretend, have mental problems that think
right.
they're animals. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see these movies where it's like,
Nightmare Alley. You don't want to
like
see that.
Mass. Like, okay, I thought it was about priests and maybe a musical that they were dancing around. No, no, it's mass shooting. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. No, no,
Oh,
no.
and right now, I know that one made like the list locally. And while we were was it Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, there was a shooting in Oxford, and that's 20 minutes from where we were.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't watch this stuff. But I will say some of the lists, like the documentaries, at least like on our list, Roadrunner made the cut.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I can't even remember the rest of the list right now. But I mean, Roadrunner's a bit dark because it's Anthony Bourdain and
Yeah.
his death and all of that, but it was so good. So, make exceptions for some of them, maybe, but yeah, I can't watch one about mass shootings, especially it's a little tender right now. So,
Yeah. It's just really, I love Ann Dowd. I think she's
mhm,
so good. Handmaid's Tale, she rocks it. Talking about dark, but I
right.
mean, she just is so good. And I was actually excited to see it. And I just went,
No, I have the screener out in the living room, and I'm going to. We got some other artistic ones, and like Pray Away and a couple others. I'm like, no, I'm not watching this. I'm sorry. I don't want to know about, what are they even called? The camps where they pray away the gay. No,
right.
I don't want to watch this. And I know, even like some of the movies that are out right now are depressing or have a depressing type ending, like Belfast. It's about Belfast in the 60s and all the disruption and then people fleeing and leaving their families and all of that. It's a little dark. It was a good
You liked
movie.
that movie though, right?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't think it would be one that I would normally personally choose to see,
Hmm.
but it was a good movie, and it's artistic, but the end leaves you in this kind of gut punch. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
It bums me out that you didn't like Nightmare Alley, 'cause I was excited for that one.
Well, yeah, but you and I.
Guillermo del Toro is actually a really interesting director, because he's either, every time I'm so excited for his movies.
Mhm,
I get so,
exactly.
so excited. I'm like, oh, his visuals are so great. And he's so good. And da 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 da. And the nicest man in the world. Like, he talks to you for hours. And then I see his movies and I'm like, it's always like, oh,
So here's the thing. I love his
except
movies.
Pan's Labyrinth. I mean,
Right.
that's just, and
But
what was
he's
it? Shape
also
of Water, I
known
really liked
he's
as
known for
well.
being dark, right? Which Nightmare
Yeah.
Alley, you would assume, would be one of those dark films. I don't think it went dark enough.
Oh.
And yeah, so that's the problem. Like the visuals were there, like the beginning, you're in a carnival and it's this 40s carnival. Yeah, I think thinking of it's about the time World War II is kicking off. So early
Hmm.
40s. So, but the architecture is gorgeous.
Right.
The movie is gorgeous, but the story just kind of went, meow.
And that's what he's known for. His visuals are
Right.
so fun. Like, I remember seeing the trailers for Hellboy 2, and
Uh-huh.
I hated Hellboy.
But you still
I
saw
was
the
just
second one,
like,
didn't you?
and then I saw the visuals and I'm like, oh, that looks so good. And the guy's eyes are doing this. And I'm like, oh, we got to see this. He's made up for Hellboy. I'm excited. No.
No, no, but it's one of those things. I love his visuals and I love the dark ones. But it's almost like when Tim Burton does the kind of fluffy, like the Alice in Wonderland. It's Tim
Yeah.
Burton, but it's not. And that's kind of what this
Yeah.
felt like. And then the
Uh,
story, like it's kind of like the Parallel Mothers one. It kind of could have ended sooner, and it got a little predictable. Like I know exactly where it was going.
yeah.
I want a little mystery in here. So I'm sure his fans and people who love Bradley Cooper are going to love the movie though. So,
Hmm.
and that's
That's
what
good.
every time like some of these movies got out, there were some people are like, this is the best thing ever. And most of us were going, no.
Well, I
So,
remember seeing Crimson Peak, right?
mhm,
And I was like, oh, so excited for Crimson Peak. And I saw it and I was like, this is, not only was it boring,
yep.
this digital effects were so terrible with the blood and I don't
Mhm,
know what that stuff was, and it was like weird, and I was like, this is just awful.
right.
I was really disappointed. And I mean, I liked Pac Rim. I will say I enjoyed Pac Rim quite a bit. It was a solid B plus in my book. um and I did work on it, so that definitely helps.
That
But
does
as a
help. It does give
disclaimer,
you a little connection.
but it was, yeah, Crimson, yeah, I enjoyed Pac Rim quite a bit more than I have. And it wasn't necessarily a Del Toro film. It was in some level with some of the dark
Yeah.
humor, but it wasn't his normal visual, because it was more clunky with the robots and, rock'em sock'em robots, but it was still very fun.
Right. But that's one of those ones that you had to go in with adjusted expectations.
Well, you know what you're gonna
You
get. Like,
know, yeah,
they're giant robots fighting dinosaurs from the middle of the earth.
right.
Done.
Right. You don't go in thinking this is going to be, a great piece of our generation, you know. So, but no, I mean, I have, I have 8 articles to write up this weekend, 2 more movies next week. And I think almost every day for the rest of the month is a movie review coming out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I looked at my editorial calendar and it's pretty packed. Yay.
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 Wow.
Right.
It's really, yeah. I mean, and we get so much stuff here with FYC. So, there's screenings galore.
Right.
And I haven't seen Ricardo's. It's on my list. I might go see it on Monday.
Well, that one hits
Uh,
Amazon Monday, doesn't it?
does it?
I think so.
I only go if Nicole Kidman is there, because she's Nicole Kidman and I adore
Well, understandable.
her. But yeah, I want to see it. But I don't think that one's as dark and heavy as
No.
some of the others.
So go in with the expectation that you're not getting like a behind the scenes of filming of I Love Lucy. It's
Right.
it's their personal life. And if you know anything about Lucy and Desi, they had
Oh
quite
yeah.
an interesting relationship. And it's taking place about the time period that she's being accused of being a communist.
Right.
So go in knowing that. I found it fascinating. Like I love, absolutely love the I Love Lucy show. Always have. Grew up with it. Still will watch it today. And it's one of those that afterwards I was happy that I saw it. So, that's
Yeah.
it's, you just can't go in thinking that it's going to be a fluff show because it's not.
Right. I keep remembering. I keep wanting going. Oh, I should see King Richard.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well,
It's
do
okay. So I don't do sports. I don't do sports movies. And it was actually really good.
I?
So the girls kind of outshine Will Smith. He'll win the awards, of course.
Yeah.
But those little girls were so good.
Will Smith has been trying to get an award for so long. Like, and I like him. I think he's a good actor,
Yeah.
but he has been like, he's been frothing for the Oscar, like Hillary Clinton's been frothing for the presidency. I mean, it's like,
So is he like the
okay.
Susan Lucci of the Oscars?
Well, I remember when he was doing 6 Degrees of Separation,
Yeah.
a movie I really enjoyed. Which, I mean, it looked a little bit like the stage play, so it was kind of hard to get out of that. But I enjoyed the movie, and they were trying to get him then. And then he did. There was one movie that they kept saying he got snubbed for. I'm trying to remember what it was. And it was before he did Concussion, and they said that until he was campaigning for Concussion, and it was the year before, and I just forgot what movie it was. And then with Concussion, he was doing the award circuit, and that didn't even get anywhere. And the movie died. Like, it didn't even
Right.
make $1 million or something. It was kind of nuts. And then now he has this one. I think he's been just trying to angle to get the award. I mean, like, I get it. Like, it's like, I can only imagine you're at a certain level and you haven't hit that. It's like,
Right. And I
oh,
mean, and he is at a certain level because I mean, people will fight to have him on a set.
right.
The man is loaded. He has a hell of a career.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it could just be the roles he's choosing. I don't know. I mean, this one is really good. So, and that one is on HBO. So it's something that you could just pull up and watch at home.
I know, but
I know there's a different experience in the theater than watching it at home.
there really is. I keep wanting to watch Dune, right? Which I know you didn't like it, but
But it's not my thing. There's a lot of people that love it.
And I'm like, oh, I should watch it, and then I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm gonna be okay, and it's like I gotta just get through it, and I want to see it, but at the same time, it's like,
You best buckle in for a long ride because that is 2 hours, 40 some minutes.
right.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, there's just some movies I'm just like, well,
I mean, okay, so putting it into perspective, like 5 minutes into that one, I wrote in my notes, this is not the movie for me. I knew that
mhm,
5 minutes in. 2 hours and 40 minutes, the new Bond movie, I had no problem with.
right.
That doesn't feel like it's almost 3 hours. Dune feels every minute of 3 hours, if not longer. So, at least for me, but there's people that love Dune that are loving the film.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I get it.
yeah. So, but there's a lot out there right now. Now, you guys did go and see the Eternals, right?
I did not. Scott saw the Eternals.
Okay.
He really liked it.
Okay.
I did not see it.
Now, did he like it just because Angelina Jolie's in it, or did he?
Maybe. No, he said he really
she's
liked the movie in
gorgeous.
general.
She's playing Athena or Thena, and she can play the goddess well. She is gorgeous, but they use her for the center of the poster, and she's not the focus of the movie.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
To me, when I saw that, I was like, the whole movie looked a little bit like been there, done that. I don't really feel a need to go and do it. This whole, this phase of Marvel, I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet, which I hear is really good.
It's really good. That one, all for.
All of the new Marvel movies in this round, I'm a little like checked out.
I think one, we're in phase 4, but I think it's also we don't have a clear idea of where they're taking us with it yet. The other ones, we had a
Yeah,
path. We knew where it was heading. We knew the end game was coming and all of that. But I
right.
mean, now we have Hawkeye on Disney Plus, which is fun. It's he's the family guy. So they made family friendly, which is good because Eternals had a sex scene, the first one for a Marvel film. So, so now we're
Yeah.
pulling way back and we're going, okay, the family guy's back. Okay.
I do think it's interesting. I don't know why I feel this way, because there's been nothing to really warrant my and it's just I'm like, I
Are you
mean,
just
like,
over Marvel?
a little bit. And I don't know if it's just the storytelling has gotten boring. Like, oh, look, a superhero, something happens to a guy and he becomes a superhero and he has to defeat X villain. I mean, how many times can you tell that story?
I mean, we still have a Spider-Man coming up this year too.
Yeah. Which I mean looks fun. And there's also Flash, which also could be really good.
Right.
Which honestly, they both seem like the same kind of idea with bringing in the multiverse. And I'm like, I get it. It's fun to see. It'd be fun to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Peter Parker.
Right.
I,
But that's
it'd be
also
fun, or it'd be more fun
funner.
if they didn't do it at the same time.
Well,
You
exactly.
know,
What did we have come out? It was 2019. We had Captain Marvel and Dark Phoenix. They're the
yeah.
same character. It's the same character. It was the same battle and the
Hmm.
same fight scene at the end. And it was like, okay, okay. And Dark
Hmm.
Phoenix, okay, I know she's an X-Men. That's what I got. But the fact that it was almost identical scene for scene at the end, I was like,
Oh, and that movie was terrible,
I, I've
and
never
she
been
was terrible.
I've
Sophie
never been a
Turner was
fan of X-Men movies. So
terrible. The X-Men movies are actually interesting. And by the way, we're not talking about anything we were supposed to talk about today. So
no,
for both of
apparently
you
not.
listening, I am sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
I finally watched the movie last night because that's my life lately.
Dark
So
Phoenix.
no, Pretty in Pink.
She's pretty in pink, isn't she? Caroline laughs and she's raining all day.
Anyway,
Anyway,
back to Dark
so
Phoenix.
it was such a bad film. I mean, honestly, the X-Men movies that I had, X1 was a solid B. I enjoyed it. It was good, great. X2, A, loved it. X3, what the F?
Okay, so I've probably seen all of them, but I will tell you, an ex-boyfriend forced me to go see X1, and right there, didn't like it from then on. So
Really?
yeah,
I liked the first one.
no, I wasn't a fan, but I was also
Hmm.
17 and didn't want to see it and being dragged to a movie I
Oh,
didn't want to see. So, and then everyone after that, I'm just like, eh. I've seen them,
yeah.
but it's just like, I'm not committed. I'm not in love with these characters. I don't give a crap. So, and I know there's a huge X-Men fandom out there. I'm just not it.
The movies are like a wave. It's just they're not. There's more bad ones than good ones this round.
Right.
Like, you know, I enjoyed the new one when they did X-Men First Class. I thought that was really good. The next one they did with that group, it was First Class, and I think they did. I think Days of Future Past was before Apocalypse,
Sure. I don't know.
and I enjoyed Days of Future Past because they brought everyone together. It felt full circle. All right, fine, we're all done. Then they did Apocalypse. If my timeline is right, Apocalypse was awful, and then
The only thing I
Dark
liked them
Phoenix was
in,
awful.
they were in Deadpool. Is it Deadpool 1 or 2? 2? 2.
They're in both.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean where they have the scene where, they're all in the library or whatever. That's all I care about. So
Oh yeah,
that, they're just not my thing. But that's, right now, Marvel, you should see Shang-Chi. That
it's
one
on my
is good.
list. I have it on Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I wanted to, and I do want to see it because I think it looks fun. I like the guy who's the lead. He seems
I do
really
too.
charismatic.
And the only thing, and I went into that one, and it seems like this year, I mean, with Raya and the Lost Dragon, Shang-Chi, she's in Swan Song, and I think something else. It is a Aquafina heavy year.
Huh.
And it's not that I don't like her. She just always seems to play the same type of character.
I'm like, I was okay. My friend Scotty would just brought this up. I know that there's Scott and there's Scotty. I'm
I
sorry
know.
for the both of you listening, but Scotty was like, if Aquafina is not Aquafina in this, and I can handle it. Um,
Well, and
but
that's the
when
thing.
she
She
gets to
starts out
Aquafina,
in
yeah,
Shang-Chi, she starts out as Aquafina. And I was like, that was my big hang up going into that movie. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of hers. And it seems like, and I know we've said this before, everybody's in Marvel now. Who's
mhm,
not in Marvel? The names are a lot less than the people that are a Marvel person now, right?
well, think about it. Michelle Pfeiffer is in Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Douglas. I mean, even the older stars they're bringing in, everyone's going to be in a Marvel movie at some
Everyone's
point.
in Marvel, which to me almost takes some of the specialness away from it.
Oh
But,
yeah,
at the beginning of Shang-Chi, she's very Aquafina, very much. And then
hmm,
as it goes on, it's like she's believable as this character. And at the end, I actually really like her in that role. So I'm glad that she kind of pulled it out of like what I was afraid it was just going to be her being Aquafina.
right,
And like I said, it's not that I don't like her, it's just she plays the same person. She plays herself. It's almost like
right.
Nicolas Cage. He's the same person in every role.
Yes, he is.
So, it's just kind of, it was nice to see that she can do something beyond that.
Hmm.
So,
I don't know. Again, I don't know why I am ambivalent towards Marvel, and I don't feel I'm not excited about the new Thor movie. I'm not excited about
the
Doctor
new Thor
Strange
movie
too.
has me really, I'm not that excited either. I'm not a huge fan of hers. And take Hemsworth out. Is it really Thor? Um,
Yeah, I don't think Natalie Portman's good enough to be that character.
I don't know. I mean, she's had some great roles in the past. I just don't love her in that role. Like her in Marvel, like her in the previous movie, as Jane, I didn't like
Mhm.
her.
She's all right.
So yeah, that's it. She was all right. And now she's taking the lead and the hammer. Oh, you're
I
really
don't.
gonna have to sell it for me.
I don't understand why an actress
Mhm.
who really hates the fans and hates geek movies does these movies. Like, don't be in Star Wars then.
Right?
Just
Right.
don't be in Marvel. Just don't do if you don't, and you just seem like you're shitting on these movies constantly, then maybe you shouldn't do them. When
Now,
they offer them to you, say no.
if they were to somehow, like if this movie coming up, the Thor Love and Thunder, I think it is, right?
Yeah. Love and Thunder.
If Kat Denning was the one taking the role, if she was the one taking the hammer and gonna become Thor, I'd be all in.
That could be really fun.
Right? I would,
Because
that
she
would
has the humor and I could
right.
see it.
That it's just Natalie Portman. I'm just like, oh,
She has the
okay.
personality of white paste.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but I've never
Oh,
met.
I would.
So
No, in general, in movies, she's
right.
just like
She's it's a very flat delivery.
flat. I mean,
Oh,
if you watch the Star Wars movie that she's in,
which I
which I'm
have.
sure you have, and they're so fucking terrible.
I worked in the
I
movie theater when that came out, so I've seen it multiple times.
it's so they're all bad.
Mhm.
Hi, Annie. Okay. Bad me. I love you. I love you too. Let's have baby. Okay.
Even though you're
It's
12. Um,
even though you're 12 and I'm 20, sure, let's
mhm.
grind. And then she falls out of the plane and they're like, oh my God, Princess Padme, are you okay? And she just jumps up. I'm fine. You got hurled out of a plane. You did a header into a sand dune. Yet you died. You die. You'd have a mark. I mean, and again, that's directing as well. I can't totally just blame her.
No,
And then she's pregnant. She has her children, and she's like, Luke, Leia, blah, and she dies.
yeah.
No.
But okay, now we're gonna pull way back here. I mean, granted, if we talk about the movies we were actually supposed to be talking about, we'd be pulling further back. Where the Heart
We're
Is.
pushing the hues. I'm sorry. We're in a tangent and I'm okay.
Okay, so Where the Heart Is, I actually liked her in that role.
Okay.
And that was before Star Wars, I think.
Oh, Beautiful Girls. I enjoyed her in Beautiful Girls.
Right. So she has those roles out there. So I know she can act. But is she Thor? You know?
I don't think she can hold a hammer, let alone lift it up.
And Muldrow is supposed to be super, only Captain America.
Heavy.
Right. Only Captain America can lift it because he's worthy. Is she worthy?
She ain't worthy.
Although I will laugh when they announced that one was coming, and it was I want to say it was at Comic-Con a few years ago, whenever they announced
D23, I think.
Oh, yes, it was D23. You are correct. One of my PR rep friends that was out there sent me a picture of her standing at the panel holding up Mjolnir, and which I'm probably butchering saying that, so whatever. But she's like, who is this?
And why can she barely hold the hammer? She's like, oh,
yeah, but
eat a steak.
She's a PR person for movies, don't you? I'm like, oh my God, bless. I'm like, I'm sitting at home in Detroit and I can tell you who that is.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, and she's been in other Marvel movies that you've worked on, but that's okay.
I mean, she was a significant part of 2 Marvel movies. Yeah. I mean, honestly, she had nothing to do. I mean, in the second one, they gave her one of the stones.
Right.
And that was like, I mean, she's like, I'm sick. I mean, she didn't do anything. It was like.
So, yeah, again, I mean, that's coming out next year or the year after, but if they just replace her with Kat Denning, I'm happy.
They're not.
I know. It'll never happen. They need,
that would be a fun choice.
Right? I mean, she did really good in WandaVision.
She's great. She has that little, that dry humor, which I think would work really well.
Yeah.
I mean, Portman has no sense of humor, and she has the personality of Elmer's glue.
You really don't like her. Oh, bless.
No, I want to. It's like, I just watch her and I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's why? Like, okay, I can understand Julia Roberts' personality. When she's on the camera.
Okay.
She turns I was going to say,
we're talking in general, not in Thor.
No, I'm just saying for actresses, right?
Okay.
You can understand.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts, she's eminently watchable.
Absolutely.
You watch Sandra Bullock, eminently watchable. Jessica Chastain, eminently watchable.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 3 people who I really. Kate Blanchett. Tilda Swinton is amazing.
Right.
There's so many amazing actresses. Kate Beckinsale, even. You watch her on screen, you can't not watch.
Right.
That's just reality.
Right.
It's Angelina Jolie blows up the screen.
Exactly.
Natalie Portman comes on and you're like, who? And yet here she is doing this kind of a role. And she, even in her romantic comedies, when she's trying, she was fine in the Ashton Kutcher movie.
Didn't she actually forget that she was in Star Wars too? Like, somebody had made some comment and said, oh, I loved you in Star Wars. And she's like, I was in that?
I'm sure she was was trying to be a joke.
No, they had to pull it up and show her the listing or something.
Stop it.
No, it was something I saw in a video a couple months ago. I'm sorry. It's during the pandemic. Everything's years. And she's like, she honestly, like, they were interviewing her for something else and she totally just blanked. But
and okay, I don't like Jennifer Aniston. I don't think she's a movie star. I think she's great as a TV star.
Yeah, but she plays the same thing in everything.
She's played the same thing in everything. I can at least say on Friends, I understand. She has a magnetism, she has a chemistry. Morning Show, I think, is the stupidest show in TV history. I don't know why people even watch it. I think she's awful in it. I think this season it was literally like, just gotta get through it. Just gotta get through it.
Oh, really?
It was so awful. I thought.
Okay, now was it because of the acting or the subject matter?
All of it.
Okay,
it was terrible all the way.
Every woman I know who has watched it has enjoyed it, and I think it is the subject matter more so.
I just think, I thought she was bad. I don't think she was good. Reese Witherspoon, it was like, We don't know what to do with her. Let's give her a brother. And we'll have her brother be a drug addict. And then let's have the last scene where she's in the middle of a pandemic and she's running through the hospital. And suddenly this is okay. No, it doesn't happen like that. And then she can just walk around the streets and no one's recognizing her.
Right.
Come on.
Okay, so tell us how you really feel, Michael.
That show is a waste of talent. Because
Well,
Reese Witherspoon is great. When she's in the
she
right role, she was great. Legally Blonde, awesome. Sweet Home Alabama, awesome.
I love that movie.
Walk the Line, she's great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many movies that she excels in. And then this is just like, it's boring and they don't give her anything to do. And she's just like paced. And Big Little Lies actually is kind of similar. Like they don't know what to do with her character. Like, oh, she's having marital problems with Adam Scott. Whoop-dee. Suck it up, sister. I'm like, oh, look, I'm gonna go flirt with the drama teacher. Oh, okay. Life is really hard over there in Monterey Bay. Just want to smack them all. Nicole Kidman's getting that crap beat out of her by Alexander Skarsgård, who looks really great in that show. But
he looks great in everything. As I'm thinking of, what was the movie that he was in?
Straw Dogs?
No. He was playing a Nazi, and he was staying in this couple's house, and he ends up having an affair with the wife.
Was James McAvoy in it?
I don't know. Let me look this shit
That
up.
was Straw Dogs. He played like a stalker.
No, it was not Straw Dogs. I can tell you that.
He's a really good actor.
Really
he doesn't get the credit I think a lot of times that he deserves.
And he's very nice to look at. And why is the first you pull up the IMDb and there's the picture of him with a tuxedo top on and underwear.
Yes. I'm good.
I mean, I'm for it, but no, he's in Passing, which is coming or is on Netflix now.
Oh yeah, I heard of it.
It's actually really good. The Aftermath. It's 2019 film. I think I watched it on the plane on the way home from your house.
Oh.
Because I had wanted to see it and didn't get to theaters or didn't get a screening or something. But yeah, he's really, really good in it. It's not a subject matter, but like the couple had just lost their child and it's after the war. And so the name plays on several levels, but
interesting.
He's the draw for me in a lot of things. So I mean, how could he not be? So,
but that's what I don't understand. Like, there's so many people that would have been so good. At least he was naked in most of the movies.
I mean, there is that, but the acting
God,
story is not. Yeah.
That I went to a screening of Tarzan with Margot Robbie, and I was just like so bored, and I felt really bad. Because I enjoy Margot Robbie too. I think she's a great actress. But Margot Robbie is inspired. It was Tarzan.
Oh, okay. And you were just that.
Yeah, you forgot that Margot Robbie was in it, right?
Yeah, sorry. Adjusting my lighting.
I saw.
As I turn different colors in.
Everyone forgets Margot Robbie's in Tarzan because everyone wants to forget Tarzan.
Well, everyone wants to forget Tarzan, but like you said, he's naked. So.
Plus.
I mean, except they killed him in True Blood, right? So he can't come back.
No, he's in True Blood. He's okay. Oh, wait, did they? No, he's fine.
So he can be in the reboot.
Okay, so over the pandemic, I rewatched True Blood.
I've watched it like 5 times, but yes.
I was obsessed with True Blood when it came out. I went to the set several times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the Warner Brothers lot, it's still there. Merlot's, the exterior is still there.
You took me there.
I took you there. I love it. It's one of those shows that's really fun. Seasons 1 through 4 are really good. Season 5, it's 2 ticks under, and this is the same that happened to Dexter. Season 6 and 7 are almost unwatchable, and the end of True Blood was it like limped to the end,
right?
And it was really it was hard. I enjoyed where his character ended up.
Mhm.
It was kind of great that he ended up with Pam doing the new True Blood with Sarah Newland's face on it and then
Right.
torturing her constantly. That was fun.
It was needed, but
It was needed and fun. And it was like, oh, look, I mean, she so deserved it. I didn't like that storyline of the Hub B and all of it. I didn't like it.
now,
And it didn't need to get so big. Like, I
right.
think, these shows don't need to go so big. It, like, isolated, this is reality in some level. I mean, I guess the heightened version of reality, but this doesn't need to go. Stories are so interesting to me when they're intimate, like Mad Men was so intimate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be this giant, like the world is ending, all the vampires are dying, and but
the vampires are dying. That's kind of what they were hoping.
yeah,
Now,
so
you mentioned Dexter. Have you watched the new one?
I love the new one.
Yes, they
got it, and I'm so happy. I'm actually, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and we were talking about it, and he was like, "If you watch the new Dexter," and I'm like, it's not Dexter.
No, it's a different. I think
totally different.
It is, and I think the first episode it was nice and refreshing and familiar, but you didn't have the voiceover until it kicked in, and then it felt like Dexter. So it still feels like it, but it's not the same.
And that's what I love about it. I love that they actually took it and they made it a different show.
Right.
Totally, they got out of Florida, which was actually Long Beach, but that's a different story.
Which they need to get out of Florida. Everybody needs to get out of Florida.
I was obsessed with Dexter when it was on too. And the ending was, again, that last season was painful to get through. I remember going, I gotta get through it. I gotta get through it. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. But this is it really, and Jeff Lindsay, who should get a lot of credit. He was with Dexter seasons 1 through 4, and he came back to do this final season just to make the show better, to make it end on a high note. And that's why Michael C. Hall came back.
I don't know that. I mean, okay, I know they say it's just one season. I really think fans are going to demand more.
I'm hoping. I love the new setting. I'm hoping to see where it ends.
Right.
I like the kid, the actor who plays his son is really good. He's really good.
I'm happy that they're tackling and they're actually shedding light on the missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yeah.
I hear about it in true crime podcasts, but you don't hear about it on the news. You don't hear it in popular media, but it's this major thing that's happening in the world, in our world around us. And this is the first show that I think is actually putting a highlight on it. So
I think it's really interesting I'm actually excited to where it's going to go.
Right.
Because Clancy Brown, his character is evil. Obviously, he's Clancy Brown. First off, 2, he's hunting these women. Right. 3, he said his son was alive so he could hunt the killer.
Right.
And so all of this stuff, and it's like, okay.
So where's it going from there?
Where's it going to go from here? And that last episode was really good. It's a different
I haven't seen
show.
The last one yet, so
it was really good. Every episode has been really great for me. It's one of those shows I'm like, all right, I'm going to put the computer down to watch it. And,
I actually set my phone down. I mean, and right now we have that out. There's new Csi episodes, which it's weird because we love CSI. We don't remember any of the new people's names. We know their old people's names that they brought back, and we're 5 or 6 episodes in. You should have some connection with the characters at this point.
Yeah.
We know them when they come on the screen. Can't tell you their names. And that's a problem. And then there's new episodes of Doctor Who right now. Now, some of those, my phone doesn't get set down for. As much as I love Doctor Who, I'm sitting there going, okay.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite bad guy creature thing right now too. And still, it doesn't catch my attention. But Dexter, I'll put my stuff down.
Yeah, I'm really loving it. I think it's great to see Michael C. Hall back, and he is back. The way they use Jennifer Carpenter is perfect.
I love it.
And the way they did it, she's
having so much fun doing that.
She's having so much fun. And she's back, and it's interesting because she's Deb and she's not Deb at the same time.
Right.
She's this other version of Deb, and she's doing it's perfect. It the way they use it is enough, but not too much,
Right.
because too much would be not right. But they've done a really good balance where it's just there,
Right.
and not overwhelming the story. And it it's
I mean,
really well.
and
I'm
I
hoping
love
they can keep it up.
I know, and I hope it has more than one season. And I like the new location.
Yeah, I like it being winter
I don't,
and the
but that
snow. And well, I mean, it's just it's different 'cause it's so
it's different.
contextually different than
And it's
Florida.
right. It's much different than Florida. And like for me, I don't like the winter part because that's reality.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean, it's
reality
not
to me.
there was snow flying in the air today. So,
I have
granted
my
my neighbor
windows
was mowing his
open
lawn.
and it's like 68 degrees.
Oh, you poor freezing baby. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's 68.
I know, it was really sad.
It's like
I
30.
had to wear a jacket one night.
Oh no, a whole jacket. Whereas I have my winter boots and all of that.
I don't understand what a winter boot is.
Yes, you remember. Mr. Hockey Boy remembers.
Oh, I remember.
Yes, you remember. You're just happy you don't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, but I really enjoy. I like the girl who plays his girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's great, and her daughter is really good. And they're all good, and they made them very believable. And you believe it's a small town. You get the vibe. You get that this poor kid has been bullied.
Yeah.
I'm actually, and it hasn't even kicked in yet. It's
No,
really
it's
the
just
main plot hasn't kicked in. I'm like, oh Lord.
it's just ramping up and that's one thing the show did well before is it set the layers in the background for
Yeah.
everything later. So
Yeah. Seasons 1 through 4 of Dexter, for my humble opinion, which isn't that humble, is some of the best television that's ever been on the air.
yeah.
If Dexter ended with the end of season 4, it would be regarded as one of the best shows of ever to grace the air.
Right.
And instead it went for 3 more seasons.
And then it
I mean,
crapped
but
out.
and that ending where you had Harrison as the baby sitting in the pool of blood,
Mhm.
and Julie Benz, and you're like, oh, it was tragic and harsh.
It was
And
horrible.
and
And
I
so what also made it horrible for me, there was a girl, I was in grad school, and a girl posted on Facebook, oh my God, they killed Rita. Like, as it happened, I unfriended her right then because I was like, you can't do that. You can't, like, even Walking Dead, whatever, give people a day. If they haven't watched in the first 24 hours, I don't care. But when it just is airing, I was so angry at that girl.
when Walking okay, so Walking Dead is another example of a show that was amazing for so many seasons, and then now is trickling to the death. And I can't. I'm so bored. It's not even funny.
So
I haven't even finished that last season.
We stopped when Negan came in.
Oh,
So,
you're way behind.
we are way behind, but that was also when a lot of political stuff, and it seemed a lot of parallels right there. And we're just like, let's back off a bit. And then we just never picked it back up. So yeah.
You're probably good of where you ended. I think that
Probably.
was, it's funny because they tried to keep it there. It was so good. I remember when Beth died.
Mhm.
They made these characters so real.
And
then now it's like they just throw someone in to kill them.
right.
It just doesn't, oh, we'll give you 5 episodes and not care.
Right.
And it's just, none of the characters, I don't even care about anybody anymore. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I've watched it. All
And
of
that's
them
the
are
problem
terrible.
when you don't connect and you don't relate to the characters, then it's what's the point?
And then it's like they realize we can't just kill everybody. Oh, so we're going to keep these guys alive. And I'm like, these are the people you should have killed.
Right.
Because if Father Gabriel and his wonky eye grace the screen one more time, I'm going to kill him.
Well, and
none of them I care about. I care about none of them. Let them all die.
There were some of the episodes that I was always like, okay, I would call them Lord of the Ring episodes, where they're literally walking for an hour.
Yep.
Okay, I understand the title. I understand the multiple layers and meaning in the title. I do.
Right.
But I cannot freaking watch that for hours. Nope. I don't like the Lord of the Ring movies because you know what? Cut all the walking out. You get one movie within a decent time. I don't need all the travel. Just, I can't. It's not
I
my type of
know.
thing. You know, just like Dune is not my type of thing. I know this when I go into things. And, you know, for a show and I'm watching the whole thing and they're just walking for an hour.
That's all they do.
I can't.
They
So
just walk.
they just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk.
Yep.
I can't do it. So, you know.
I'm glad that show is ending. I tried to watch Fear the Walking Dead and I hated every character on there. I want them all to die. So I stopped after like 2 episodes.
Right.
And then I hear it got better, but and then I didn't even watch The World's End or whatever the other one was. And, you know, I'm just
checked out of it. It's, you know,
you can't milk a show this long. And it's hard. Creatively, it was so good for a long time.
it was.
I mean, Andrew Lincoln, I think their downfall was when they killed Carl.
Right.
And it was kind of like, and that's when Andrew Lincoln was like, well, why am I here now?
Right. What's the point? We know
What's
she's
the
gone. We
point?
know he's gone. You know, Lori.
My wife
had been gone a
died. My
long time.
girlfriend's going to be leaving. My son just got killed. I'm
Right.
raising my ex-best friend's baby who was having an affair with my wife, who wasn't really her fault. But it's not my son and not my daughter. He was like, peace.
Right. So,
You know, it's like watching Riverdale now. I'm like, no.
we watched the first season and that's all we watched.
I enjoyed it for like up until they graduated. So even that last season was like, I was anger watching.
Yeah.
And then they graduated high school. And then the next episode was Archie came back after a 5-year time jump. And then
the time jump thing is a little confusing.
It was really weird. And then none of them talked anymore suddenly. Veronica got married to some rando who is abusive. Betty's in the FBI. Jughead had a book, and then now he's bad, and they all decide to take time off to be substitute teachers to Riverdale High. And
so
Veronica's dad still wants to kill. I'm like, I'm out.
Would you ever go back to your high school and be a substitute teacher at the high school you attended?
I did.
You subbed?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Well, I was thinking in my head, after I graduated college, I wanted to move to LA.
Okay.
So I wanted to work. And I also was like, well, I could be a teacher. I mean, I was debating about it. I was like, that could be something I wanted to do.
Be even more poor.
I know, right?
Poor teachers do not get paid what they need to.
No. And so I was a debate for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really an easy entrance.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to go and do anything else. I was like, well, let me experience it.
Right.
And so I just kind of signed up, because I had a bachelor's, so it was easy. And it was also good because I had left for 2 months or 3 months to come to here.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed a way to make money at the same time. So it was great because I had to be 9 to 5. It was, they call me in the morning and come in, or they would be like, hey, can you come in this week for this teacher and blah, 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 blah. I'm really glad I did it, to be frank.
Really? See,
it was right out of college though.
Okay.
It wasn't like I had anything else. And then I went to college with this modeling conference.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was between the modeling conference, I came back, and then it was like, all right, let's figure out
what you want to do when you grow up.
What I want to do when I grow up, which I'm still figuring out.
We all do.
And then I was like, let me sell my house in Detroit and move out. So in the interim, I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
That do you get a job? Do you do this? Do this? It was perfect because they would call me in the morning. I'd go in, I'd come, I would be off by 3, and repeat, rinse and repeat, and I got a great taste of what being a teacher was like.
And it wasn't for you.
Honestly, I really liked it.
Really?
The kids were really fun. I was young, so there was a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like they thought, and because they would be like, trying to front me all the time. And I'm like, I don't care.
Right. And you're 22 or whatever, going,
yeah,
whatever.
whatever, kid. And they would try to be like smart asses, and I would do it back, but tenfold. And the kids would just be like, oh, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, we're gonna tell. And I go, bring it. And then they would just sit there like, I don't know what to do right now.
Right.
And then it was, you're so cool.
See,
Yeah.
I didn't mind teaching at the collegiate level because,
well, right, different story.
It's a whole different world. And if the students are being stupid, you can tell them to knock their shit off and it's fine.
Yeah.
My high school, I don't even want to go back to the town and deal with stuff. I don't want to go into my own high school and teach.
It was funny. I did a lot of junior high and high school.
Okay.
And because no one wanted to do junior high. So they always gave it to me because I just did it. I was able, the principal was like, you have a way where you can literally discipline the kids and make them do things that no one else can do because of you, of who you are. She's like, because you just have a different way. And she goes, it's different and no one else could do it, but you could get away with it because it's who you are. I'd probably be in trouble now because all the new restrictions or whatever. But like, there was this one kid and he was just that guy, oh, I'm so cool. And he goes, da 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 da, I'm gonna leave. And I'm like, go. And the guy looked at me and I'm like, get out, I don't care. And he goes, well, and I go, what? And it was in front of the entire class. I go, what? Now you're not gonna go? Now you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna go because I'm telling you can go. Go. I don't care. I don't care. Go wander the halls and do nothing all day. If that's what you want to do, but don't try to act all big and bad in front of this class because everyone knows that you're just a punk and no one cares.
Right.
And he stood there and he goes, oh, and he left. He walked out of the door and he sat outside the class. He looked at the window and he's like, no one's coming after me. No one know what to do. 10 minutes later, he slunk back into class and sat in a chair. And I looked at him, I go, yeah, that's right.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many fun stories like that. Actually, okay. So when I was leaving the junior high, well, this is not even a topic. When I was leaving, and this is such a great fun story. I remember it was Christmas break. Oh God, I wasn't actually gone yet. It was a Christmas break, and it was like the teachers all were like, "Where are all the kids?" And they're like, "They're all in Mr. Mike's room." So I made call him Mr. Mike. Literally, I had like 70 kids bouncing off the walls. And I'm like, how did you guys spontaneously combust? What is happening?
What did you do?
And I was like, I don't care. Because everyone wanted to hang out in my room. And I'm like, fine, whatever. And all the other teachers were like, we had nothing to do. They were so excited. But when I was leaving for good, everyone knew I was coming to California at that point. And it was our school was like a U. So it was like wall, and there's a parking in the middle of the U, and then you leave that way. And I when I left my last day, I didn't have my last hour. It was like a conference hour. So I was leaving early before the rest of everybody. So I'm like, well, let me get out of here before school ends, and all of that stuff. And you're dealing with the buses and the traffic and da 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 da. So I'm leaving, and all of a sudden, I just hear windows popping from all around this U and kids screaming, bye, Mr. Mike, from one end. And this other one's like, have a good time in California. We miss you. And all this. And I was waving at everybody and I was leaving. And I'm like, oh, it was kind of fun, that I had that.
In a screenplay in the future.
It will. I already copywritten it. But it was fun to have those 3 or 4 months or whatever I did that for. That I was able to, pay my mortgage and I had that experience and I was good. Like it filled that need.
Good. I just know for me personally, I would never do it at the high school that I went to.
I didn't have a lot of I did a bunch. It was totally different. The high school was different than what it was. I remember doing gym for like a week and a half. And I was just like, wow. I don't remember it being like this. Very angry. Kids were very, very angry.
Really?
Yeah, there was one. I remember the other gym teacher who fit the gym teacher profile for females. She would come up to me. I was just watching this kid, and he was like just beating this soccer, just basketball. And she goes, and I was just watching him, and I'm like, And she goes, it's scary, right? When you watch some of these kids and what they're dealing and all they have. And I was like, yeah, I don't, I don't understand. Like, it was like, it took a lot to process, you
Right.
know?
But it's
And
also,
it was,
you're
you
seeing
know,
it from an adult's perspective versus of kids at that point too.
let's put adults in quotes, please.
I got
I
an
don't ever want, I don't think I'll ever be an adult. I think I'll always be a
advent
Toys R Us
calendar.
kid.
Wow. There's no point to grow up.
No point.
No point.
So I think we've really
Not stayed on
veered
topic.
quite far from our topics
Mm-hmm.
for our and we haven't even discussed the movies that we were supposed to discuss. So I guess next week we'll be discussing the Hughes movies.
Well, we can, or do you want to choose other ones?
No, it's like, I mean, those are two of my favorite movies. So, you know, so next week we'll be talking Pretty Pink Ferris Bueller. Because we didn't get to that today because we talked about X-Men and FYC and
Mm-hmm.
Becky's illustrious singing career, and all this other stuff. So,
Yes, that singing career, you're never going to find anything on.
oh come on, you want to do it. Come on, go la 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 la. You want to do it? Just do it once. Come on.
Oh, bless. No.
Can't get you out of my head. You
Anyway,
want to do it?
Anyway, sort of on topic, or what we're actually doing here.
Mhm.
Over our extra week off we didn't plan to take, I was able to finally get us on the last two podcast formats.
Yay! So all
Yeah.
7 people can hear us.
We currently have, let me pull this up. We have an estimated audience of 4. Thank you very
Woohoo!
much. Not anybody from either of our households, but that's okay. But we are on, let me see. We are on Anchor, Apple, Google, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Stitcher.
Yay! Stitcher. That's exciting.
We're on all of the major formats.
And
So,
no one is listening, and that's just dandy.
but we've got 4. I have a friend that's been doing this for a year and a half. She has 5. So we're doing okay.
Really?
Yeah. We're doing okay. You know what? We're starting out, but we also went into this with the expectation that we're just doing it for fun. If it goes
Right.
somewhere, great. If it doesn't, we get to talk about movies and see where it takes us.
This is literally a phone conversation we'd have normally. So we just decided to make a weekly call out of it so everyone can share.
Right. And you get to weekly make fun of Billy, and
Oh, I'm Billy. I like cheese.
we get to talk about movies and TV and all of the stuff that, we do when we avoid the real world.
Yeah, Billy's big in Canada. I just wanted to
You
put
said
that out
that
there.
last time too.
He reminded me of that this weekend, so I wanted to mention that again.
What are you even talking about? He's big in Canada.
He makes hockey cards. That's what he claims he does. And so he says he's big in Canada, like people know his name. And I go, yeah, people know your name because you're stalking prepubescent children.
Mm-hmm.
Will you sign my photo? I'm Billy.
Just like that. Did he do that in San Diego?
No, he didn't come to San Diego. It was too long of a drive for him.
Did he come to your Thanksgiving?
No, he canceled Thanksgiving. So I didn't get the drunk Billy.
Oh.
Because drunk Billy's like, hey, I'm Billy. Like he forgets who he is.
He forgets who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get everyone drunk this year. I mean, I think I got everyone pretty hypedly buzzed.
Except for the children.
Yeah, I did. No, even them. I did a special drink this year. My drinks are heavy pours, so everyone,
Okay.
It was the Stay Puft marshmallow drink in honor of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took vanilla ice cream, and then I did vodka,
Okay.
and then I did whipped cream vodka,
Ooh.
and then I made homemade toasted marshmallow syrup.
Nice.
Which was delightful. And then I combined all of that in a blender with some ice. So really, to put that into perspective, there was no mixer. It was all vodka. Like it was pure, it was just vodka. And then I topped it with whipped cream. I took a Peep shaped like a snowman and I lit it on fire. So it was toasted, and then I put the fire out, and that's what the drink was. And it tasted, it was dangerous because you couldn't taste anything. And it was probably about 10 shots of vodka.
That's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's not good.
Yeah. And I had a couple people like, falling down there, but it was all right. We ate pretty soon after. So I guess
That's
that
good.
didn't totally hit.
That's
But
like
then if you do it in the beginning, people don't get sober by the time they leave, and that's positive.
Yeah, you need to make sure that they have stuff to soak it up.
Right.
So
between the 10 pounds of mashed potatoes and the giant trays of Thanksgiving stuffing.
That's a lot of potatoes, dude.
Yeah, I made 10 pounds of potatoes. I made 2 giant trays of stuffing, which was it's very ornate stuffing. It takes a long time. And then I made a 25-pound turkey.
But you had a lot of people over.
I had 10 people. This was a smaller group than we usually. Usually we have like 20 people. But we were limiting it this year because it was COVID and we still want to be good,
Right.
And so we did bubbles and pods and whatever the hell that all is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the screening days, the second day, I ordered a drink from the bar at the theater. It's called Mr. Grinch, and it was Captain and Malibu, Sprite, and pineapple and something else.
Nice.
It tasted just like I was drinking pineapple and Sprite. That was bad. I mean, bad because it was so easy. And I was like, So if you need something for your Christmas party, have fun.
That'll be a fun one maybe next year because I'm not doing a Christmas party. I'm actually gonna put my fandom tree up today. But
do you need fandom ornaments?
No, I have all the Star Trek ships and the Star Wars ships, and I have a DeLorean from Back to the Future, and I have some of the Serenity Firefly ships.
Okay.
So it's like, and this year it's a black tree, so it looks like space
with lights, so it lights up. Yeah, you're channeling the nerdiness. Yeah.
Oh, it's a geek tree, let me tell you.
And where are
there's an alien. There's an alien from Aliens on there too. And the Tron light cycle.
Okay, so where are the pictures of this tree?
It's not up yet. It will be up.
You're doing that today.
That's my plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have been debating if I'm even doing a tree again this year. I didn't last year. We're not doing family Christmas again. So
yeah, I leave to see my mom for a week. So
we will have to coordinate when we're going to make sure we get our recordings done so we don't take extra weeks off.
We have those 4 people. And those 4 people are like, where's the fucking podcast?
You don't know. They could be. I haven't checked the email. Let me check that and see if we've got anything.
Like, where's that podcast? Damn it. Why are you talking about Pretty in Pink? What is happening?
Ooh, we have 2 emails. One's from Google and one's from WordPress. But
I'm telling you, they're my favorites.
They are. Oh, and they're gone. Oh, and we have one from Anchor too. Okay. There we go. So,
Well, all right. So thank you guys, all 4 of you, for joining in. Maybe it's 2 now. I don't know. Maybe we've lost people
for an hour and a half discussion on nothing we were supposed to discuss.
I know. Well, that's why we're here. So have a delightful holiday season, and we will talk about Pretty in Pink and Ferris Bueller next week, and then we'll talk about some Christmas movies that we both love, which I'm sure everyone knows. But I'm sure Becky's like, let's talk about the holiday again, but we're not going to do that. So
no, I already know which holiday movie I'm going to make you watch, and it's not a traditional holiday one. I mean, it is.
Gremlins?
Huh?
Gremlins?
No.
It's a Christmas movie.
Did you see my post?
That's why I brought it up.
I will never watch that movie, you jerk.
Well, guess whose selection that is?
No.
Yes, it is. As soon as you posted that, I'm like, oh yeah.
You ass. No, that's mean. But that's next week, and you might forget by then. So
I really won't. Now I won't, especially.
You really should. Anyway, thank you all for listening. And like I said, we're on all the major podcast networks now. We will be back next week, finally talking about the John Hughes movies.
Yay!
Yay! So we will.
And Becky will be singing her Kylie Minogue melody for everybody. She's gonna prepare it for this weekend.
Sure. Whatever he says. All right. Later.
Hashtag